12th of June, there's a conjunction between Venus and Uranus, and this occurs in the 17th degree of Taurus. Now that 17th degree of Taurus is with the expression called awakening. These expressions are 5-degree batches, and the expression within Taurus of awakening, when you think of Uranus going through that expression, which is the awakener, you kind of think that this must be quite a powerful time for Uranus's energy. So we're on the lookout for that. What does it mean to have Uranus in that degree of the 17th of Taurus, especially now that there's a conjunction with Venus? So we're going to look into that today. And we can start by my reading out the Sabian symbol for the 17th degree of Taurus, a battle between the swords and the torches. Life is a struggle between external and internal opposing forces, dealing with inner confrontations. In seeking further and further clarification of a newly discovered truth, we are required to develop warrior qualities and fight the real forces of ignorance, domination, and greed. Indecision is a fatal flaw for a warrior who must reduce matters to good and evil, black and white, and choose definitively between this or that, necessity and desire. It's to do with confronting inner dualities. We must learn to discern between what ennobles us and what betrays spirit. So Uranus being there really underlines this mystery, this wisdom that we have to develop on the path to realization. We all have inner dualities, don't we? We live in the world of duality. It is necessary for us to come to terms with the distinction between this and that, and then the choice between this and that. And this and that have many, many different modes of expression. We can discuss the difference between light and darkness, for example, good and evil. Names given to these polarities sometimes confuse and veil a deeper truth rather than bring it to light. So we have to be very careful when we name polarities. For example, good and evil doesn't seem to be a well-chosen name for that polarity. Helpful, unhelpful might work better. Evil generates evil. If you give something a name, that creates that quality. And I don't think any of us really wants to believe that there exists evil in our lives. We may well put it out there and say, yes, evil does exist in the world. But looking in here, I don't think we do. I don't think we think of ourselves as having the potential for evil. I don't, and the people that I know, they don't have that. So to put it out there and say that evil exists in the world may not be the most helpful device. And this very idea that I'm putting forward now is an aspect or an expression of Uranus in that degree. In other words, Uranus brings an enlightened approach, a new way of seeing things, a new way of grasping energy. So rather than seeing good and evil as the polarity of your existence even, you could see it as a mistake that needs correcting. And if we think about the words sin and repent, very, very popular words in Christianity, they come from French terms. Sans, without, repenser, think again. And they were archery terms. You have a go at the bullseye, you miss. Sans, you're without. So have another go, we think. And it's like that with life. Life is trial and error. We make mistakes. If we didn't, then we wouldn't make anything. So Uranus is saying, right, you did that wrong. look at it from another perspective. Take the overview of your life, of the situation, of energy generally, of life generally. Take the overview. Look at it holistically, all at the same time. This is what Uranus can do for us. Somehow, magically, it gives us a flash of holistic vision. We see more instantaneously. It's very, very difficult to hold on to what we have seen during a Uranus moment. We see it all and then we forget most of it. So the job in any particular degree that Uranus transits through, in this case the 17th degree of Taurus, is to get a glimpse of the profound wisdom of that Sabian degree and just hold on to that which you can of this glimpse. Now, when Venus is going through this degree, Venus is going to bring a sense of our values, what we're attracted to, and equally what we're repulsed by. It's not only the force of attraction that gives rise to relationship and art and what we find pleasure in. It's also the opposite of that, what we find unpleasant, whom we don't want to relate to, what is ugly in our sensitivities. And so when Venus goes through the 17th of Taurus, it's making value judgments. I like this, I don't like that. I like him, I don't like her. I like myself when I'm doing this. I don't like myself when I'm doing that. These value judgments are not meant to be to do with good and evil, right and wrong. That's absurd. They're meant to do with self-definition. My preference is this. So it's defining yourself more beautifully, more elegantly, more in harmony with how you perceive reality to be. Now, of course, when they're in conjunction, I mean, you think about a Venus conjunct Uranus energy. It's not comfortable for Venus, is it? Venus is going to be energized and excited and much, much more adventurous and risk-taking than usual. Venus in Taurus is sensual and safe and predictable, and here's Uranus conjunction with it. Not necessarily the case anymore, is it? When Venus and Uranus are in conjunction, that's the more powerful aspect, rather than Venus being in Taurus. It's the Venus conjunct Uranus that we're looking at now. So Venus, which is lovely in Taurus, it just loves pleasure, it loves beauty, it's very sensual, and you know, it's been approaching Uranus for some time now, day by day, getting closer, and now its conjunction is exact, and it's going to see very, very quickly that which is driving its desire nature. So let's take the example of relationship. You might be normally attracted to people that can give you pleasure, sensuality and comfort and that kind of Taurus energy. And here it's going into a Uranus frame of being, and it might not want that anymore in quite the same way. At least it might want excitement, adventure, and something bizarre, unusual, unpredictable, shocking. And we do have to remember that Taurus can be shocking. It's not given the reputation for being lacking in conservative values. The opposite is true, of course. However, there are plenty of Taurus type people who can shock. They just affirm personal freedom with such certainty and confidence that it's shocking to those people that are obedient to society's norms. So Venus itself is not shocking, of course not. Taurus can be, rarely, but can be, and here we have an example of where it is. Because Uranus is going through Taurus, this 7-year period is going to be a little bit less predictable for Taurus. And here we have Venus conjuncting it, so there's much more focus on that energy. Strange relationships suddenly occurring. You know, you might find yourself in relationship with somebody that you'd never think of normally with this transit. And it could last because it's in Taurus, but it might not because it's to do with Uranus. Who knows?